Hey gamers, Maniac here with Detective Pikachu over there. And this is another Mind of Maniac. And I know, I'm sure you can probably tell based on how I'm dressed and based on what based on what's in the background, you can probably tell that this is a Pokemon related video, and I've done Pokemon related Mind of Maniacs in the past. But this is about a completely different type of problem. And I have mentioned this in some of my previous videos, particularly on my date night videos. I've mentioned that this is an ongoing problem. It's kind of boiled over with the release of Detective Pikachu, and it's gotten to a point where I've been so frustrated about it that I really feel like I really want to speak about it. And it all boils down to one thing. I am sick to death of knowing more about retail stores, ins and outs, than the people that work there. It's just that simple. I know that's a weird statement for me to make, and I know you're probably thinking, how can you know more about a business than the people who work in the business? That kind of defeats all logic in the universe. But really, yeah, apparently businesses are just run by people that are that stupid or that misinformed, which means that they're basically not being trained by managers or being informed by managers who tell them anything. So I don't know if it's a breakdown in communication. I don't know if it's a failure of training. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but I am sick to death of going into stores asking for things that they should be providing based upon information that they've done or that they've provided to the public months, at least months in advance, and basically being greeted with confused and clueless faces. It's happened to me so many times, more times than I can count, and it seems to be happening to me pretty much in every event that's going on this month. And I'll talk about that, and I'll talk about why previously, but I guess I just want to get that little bit out of the way, and then I'll explain myself. Well, basically, I guess we could talk about Pokemon in general, but basically, Pokemon does giveaway events. Pokemon has been giving giveaway events and been performing giveaway events at major retailers probably since the first Pokemon games were released. Whether it be the promotions that they held at Toys R Us to give away Mew, later on, other distribution events at then of course in the days of the Nintendo DS and even the days of the Nintendo 3DS, whenever Pokemon events would happen, they'd be giving giveaways over at stores like GameStop or Electronics Boutique, I guess, if you're in Canada, or Game if you happen to be in the UK. Props. The events worked almost all the time. In fact, I attended some, Toys R Us events in the last couple of years that have been held. Ever since the Pokemon 20th anniversary, they've actually held events at Pokemon again. At Toys R Us again, unfortunately, before Toys R Us happened to close down. And they all went off without a hitch. The Pokemon company, Nintendo, or whoever would decide to hold a promotion. They would say, come to a specific store on this specific day and get a little giveaway, like a figurine or a distribution code or an exclusive promotional trading card game card. Basically something along those lines. And I can't speak for everybody's experience, but I can speak from my own experience, and I would say that up until this point, when they would do promotional events with Toys R Us or even GameStop, say what you will about those companies, they would do the promotions. They would have the promotions, or at the very least, they would be easy for you to find out if the promotion was still ongoing, what the details of the promotion were, if they had run out, something along those lines. If, back in the DS's heyday, for example, if Nintendo was giving out, or a Pokemon company was giving out an exclusive event Pokemon or something, you could simply walk to the GameStop or drive to your local GameStop. There's one desk, one, maybe two clerks total in the entire store. They'd be behind the desk. Once the people were done with their transactions, if anybody was, engaged with something, you could say, hi, do you have the Pokemon distribution codes? Or hi, do you have the Pokemon TCG codes? Or something along those lines. And they'd know what you were talking about. They wouldn't look at you like you were an idiot. They'd give you what what you asked for, or if they didn't have it anymore, they would say, sorry, we ran out, or sorry, we haven't gotten ours yet. In which case you could say, okay, I'll go on my merry way, and basically, that would be the end of it. In the past year, Pokemon has decided not, and this is for reasons that I cannot explain. Pokemon has decided to do cross promotions with bigger stores like Target and Walmart. Stores that are nothing like GameStop, that sell all different types of products, whether it be from food to toys to video games to clothing, to DVDs and movies, TVs, all this stuff basically. And these are not small stores. These are large venues with potentially dozens of employees, many of which may, it's all departmentalized. So you've got certain people working customer service, you have certain people that work registers, you have certain people that work in certain departments. Like this guy works for electronics, this girl works for cell phones, this person works in clothing, this person works as a retailer exclusively, as a checkout person. Who do you ask when Pokemon has held an event at like Targets, which they have done over the course of the last 2 or 3 years? Who do you go to? Who do you ask? Hi, I've got a Pokemon. Where are you giving out your Pokemon cards? 9 times out of 10, they look at you like you basically asked them something in Chinese. They don't know what you're talking about at all. And it's frustrating as a consumer. I'm sure it's frustrating for the employees because they don't know what I'm talking about because nobody told them. The managers never told them what was going on at that event. So this month has kind of basically put my feelings to a boil. This month is supposed to be a celebration. It's the release of Detective Pikachu in theaters. And I know I didn't do a Detective Pikachu date night review. I have seen Detective Pikachu. I thought it was good. I enjoyed it. Exactly what I was hoping for. Pokemon Noir, noir Pokemon film, good. Hopefully they'll make more Pokemon movies. I really do hope that they do. I'd like to see more Pokemon movies being released by the Detective Pikachu studios. I've been told that is the plan, or that was something that was in the back of their mind. Please do it. Please do it. To their credit, the Pokemon Company has been doing a lot to promote this event. Anybody that might have seen a TV spot, television commercial for the Detective Pikachu movie within a week of the movie being released in theaters, or prior to a week of the movie being released in theaters, probably caught a little bit of a little something at the end of the TV spot. This didn't end up in the online prints of it, so I can't find it, but I've seen it on the TV several times. And that is that, while participating, and by the way, the Pokemon Company has done this in the past with movies. While supplies last, you can get, if you come to the movie, you can go get an exclusive Detective Pikachu foil promo card. Great. They've done it in the past. I remember when Pokemon 2000 came out, they gave they had an exclusive Ancient Mew card. When Pokemon The Power of One, when the Pokemon reboot animated film came out at Fathom events about a year or 2 years ago, they gave out an exclusive an original Ash's Pikachu hat, Pikachu wearing Ash's hat that you couldn't get anywhere else. And they were doing it again this time. Now, for those of you who might have seen my date night reviews of those movies, or of any of the recent date night reviews that I've done, you'll see me complain within the first 5 to 10 minutes of just how frustrated I was trying to get the person who, the ticket taker, to give me the promotional items that they were supposed to give me once they ripped my ticket. It's happened every time I've gone to a Cinemark, on all occasions when a promotional event has happened, or when a promotional giveaway has happened. I'm usually the first person to get my ticket ripped, so maybe that might have something to do with it. But and for Tomb Raider, I was the only person to get my ticket ripped. I was the only person in the theater to actually see that movie. But yeah, what happened is that I didn't receive my thing because basically the guy ripped my ticket and then said, okay, go. And I'm like, no, you're supposed to give me something. And after about, this was like the third time that this was supposed to happen. First time I get it, you don't know what I'm talking about. You can call a manager and that's it. Second time, my patience is a little bit shorter. You still don't know what I'm talking about. All right, call a manager. Third time, my patience was gone. And that's another reason why this video is being made, was basically my patience is gone at this point. I'm surprised other online pundits don't talk about this more often. I actually do a sweep of online pundits. They're mostly just complaining right now about the Epic Store. And I'm sure that store has problems, but nobody's talking about any of this. I have no idea why not. Maybe they live in more competent states with more, that hire more competent people. I don't know. Maybe this is not something that's happened to me, but I haven't seen anybody really talking about this. So I get my ticket ripped for the Detective Pikachu movie. I'm supposed to receive a Detective Pikachu promo card for the Pokemon TCG. And I say, okay, so the guy rips my ticket, and then he kind of waves me past, and I don't leave at this point. And I say to him, where is it? And of course, the guy has no idea whatsoever what I was talking about, because nobody working at Cinemark told him that they were doing this event. And I'll tell you why later on. Not his managers, nobody. So I said to him, you're supposed to give me something. He's like, what? I gave you your ticket back. I said, yeah, you're supposed to give me something. You're supposed to give me the TCG. What's a TCG? No doubt. The guy says, I don't know what TCG is. Maybe he thought I was thinking of some type of sex joke or something like that. No. TCG, trading card game. I said to him, there have been commercials for the last month, right? Guy still doesn't know what I'm talking about. I said, can you please get somebody that knows what I'm talking about? So he gets on the radio, and he's like, there's a guy here. He says there's something supposed to be given out with Pokemon. I have no idea what he's talking about. And the whole time the guy is looking at me like I am some kind of idiot or living in some kind of fantasy world or something. But at this point, I'm so frustrated with the guy that I'm literally ready to ask him for a refund if I don't get the card. This was the first showing of the day. I could have gone to another theater and seen it somewhere. There were plenty of other opportunities for me to get this, for me to see the film. So finally, he says to me as I'm waiting, yeah, we don't have those. And I say, well, then we've got a serious problem then. And then like about 30 seconds later, he says, because I'm not leaving at this point. It's like, I'm either going to get a refund or I'm going to get the card. At that point, I made it clear to him with my face and my actions. I wasn't vulgar with him. But at this point, I basically said, every time I do this, every time I get my, there's a promotional event for the movies, you guys never, ever, ever, I'm trying to explain to him, this never happens. Nobody ever tells the ticket takers when an event is going on, that an event is going on to distribute promotional stuff. He's like, well, maybe we don't participate in that. I'm like, that just doesn't resonate with me. And yeah, maybe, but they were. Because not 3 minutes later, one of the managers came out of the back with a ginormous box filled with these. Really, they weren't participating. Really, Cinemark, you weren't participating? And where did these come from? These are it. This is what they should have given me. I shouldn't have had any fuss about it. Finally, the guy was so embarrassed by the fact that what he's been telling me for 5 minutes did not exist, actually did exist. And I told him, I don't blame you. I blame your managers who didn't tell you what was going on. He said, take as many as you want. So I took like 3 or 4. I kept one or two for a friend that couldn't be there. And I went to the movie, and I was so mad, I was so frustrated. I basically, when I walked into the theater, and there was maybe like 2 or 3 people in the theater. The movie hadn't started yet. We were like 20, 25 minutes from the movie starting. I walked in the theater, and I basically said in the middle of the theater, again to the 2 people that were there, if you guys didn't get these, You should have go out and get them. Because I knew that before me, probably the reason why they didn't get them was because the people didn't complain. I had to complain for everybody. And I told them, just bring your stub, show them your stub and they'll give you the cards. I think at that point, Cinemark started getting wise to what was going on because they didn't give out anything unless people asked for it. So, but at the very least, I can tell you this right now, unless I had complained, they wouldn't have given out anything to anybody. So even for the people that asked for him, it was clear this guy didn't want to give me jack squat, even though he was supposed to. Now that's one event. One venue that has a history of not knowing what I'm talking about. That's Cinemark for you. Well, why am I doing a video just to, why didn't I just do a, about that? Well, because that's not the only venue that was giving out Pokemon distribution stuff. And not at that time either. So this was, I think it was May 9th. This was May 9th that was going on, that event was going on. Might have been May 8th, I can't remember. But it was, May 9th. So basically they were giving these out until they ran out, which is fine. That's what you're supposed to do with these type of promotional events. And at that point, it was like a house of dominoes. Whereas I think it was on May 10th that GameStop was actually being told to give these out. Snubbull cards, promotional cards. On May 11th, which I think was Saturday, Target was told to give out these. These are the Psyduck promotional cards. And you see, look at these. These are adorable, aren't they? These are great cards. Look at these cards. This has a Detective Pikachu in it. I haven't opened it, but this does have a Detective Pikachu in it. Don't worry. But so I go into GameStop. I think it was because I didn't know about that was like one event I didn't know about. Apparently, Pokemon.com has been like the one-stop shop for for these events and everything. So when I was checking on, because I knew about the Target event, I knew that Target was planning on doing distribution. I think it was on Saturday the 11th in the early morning, between like 11 and 3 or something like that, or 10 and 1, something like that. That they were planning on doing distribution. So I go into my local Target, and I try to participate in the Pokemon Pass, and I'll save Pokemon Pass for a different video. I think that Pokemon actually invented the Pokemon Pass to actually get around this problem. And if they did, God bless you for it, Pokemon Company. So, yeah, what basically happened is that I go into my Target at the proper time, or I actually get in there like 15, 20 minutes early. And I say, where are you guys setting up for the Pokemon distribution? And at this point, to Target's credit, they were like, we don't know. I think they had heard about the event, but nobody knew where it was happening. And then after making me wait for like 15 or 20 minutes, they finally told me we didn't get the cards. Normally, I wouldn't be mad about that, but they shouldn't have made me wait if they didn't have the cards. So I had to go literally across the state to different Targets just to get the Psyduck distribution. Now, to GameStop's credit, where they were doing the event, I walked in there and I said, you guys got the cards? Yep, here you go. No muss, no fuss. Say what you will about GameStop. The guy knew what I was talking about. He handed me the card. I was in and out of there in less than a second. So props to GameStop there. You're certainly, it's kind of funny when I'm telling you that GameStop is certainly more competent when it comes to promotions than literally any other retailer in the entire tri-state area. Go figure on that one. Or movie theater. But the worst, the absolute worst, was this past weekend with Walmart. Now, Walmart is probably one of the biggest retailers in the entire country. Trust me, they don't deserve that title. It's certainly not for competence or quality of goods. So they intend to do their own promotional event. The problem is that unlike Target, who was promoting and who was not, who was participating and who wasn't participating was kind of a murky gray area. Now, I assumed when I first looked at the website, given the Pokemon.com post, that pretty much any Walmart was going to be participating. So I go into my local Walmart, or at least one of my local Walmarts, And I get there at plenty, I think I was an hour late or maybe like 45 minutes late or something because I'd forgotten about the event, or there was a delay on me getting there. And nobody knows what I'm talking about. I go to the electronics section, nobody knows what I'm talking about. I go to customer service, nobody knows what I'm talking about. Finally, somebody says, "Are we participating in that?" So I just checked their website, and there was a little posting on there that basically gave a list in my area. And I think there were maybe 6 stores at the most. Maybe only 3 of which that were actually accessible within an hour drive of me, that were listed as participating. So I left at that point. I headed to the first one, the closest one to my house that was participating. And it was like a 25 minute drive or so. And they don't know what I'm talking about. I go to electronics. It's empty. There's nobody working there. There's nobody to ask. There's nobody working in electronics. So I go to customer service. I wait in line. They don't know what I'm talking about. They start asking me, are you sure you don't mean the stuff that we're selling? I said, no, you're supposed to have gotten promotional cards. We don't know what you're talking about. Finally, they talk to a manager who talks to another manager who talks to like the one manager that has any idea what's going on. And they say, we never got them. Great. I wasted another half hour, 45 minutes. I drive out a half hour to a different Walmart, 45 minutes north of my place, the closest that I could get. So at this point, I've basically driven for at least an hour. This is my 3rd Walmart at this point. And I say, do you guys have the exclusive promotional cards that they had? And they did. They had a table set up. This was like the one Walmart that was managed competently. Guy gave me the card. So at least there was one Walmart in my entire tri-state area. At least one that was managed competently. At this point, it was getting pretty late. The promotion was, the times of the promotion were running out. So it is what it is. For anybody that works in retail, is this something that happens a lot? Do you guys and I say this because I kind of figure, do you guys just do this to keep the promotional items for yourself so you can sell them on eBay later? Because I have a stinking suspicion that was the plan for at least some of these retailers. Certainly for the first Walmart that the second Walmart I should say that did it, and certainly for the Cinemark. It is possible that since there's only 1 or 2 people that actually know about this stuff, is it possible that the managers could actually be keeping these secret? I don't know. Meanwhile, there are other stores that are run competently. Of all stores I can think of that are run competently is Build-A-Bear of all things. I bought a couple of Pokemon plushes over there because, to say credit, and I will say this right now, and I will take this statement to my grave right now, Build-A-Bear actually makes the best Pokemon plushes in the entire country. Basically, they sell the best Pokemon plushes in the United States. I would compare them to, let's say, something that you would get in a Pokemon Center store, but there aren't any Pokemon Center stores in the United States at all. So basically, Build-A-Bear wins by default. So, yeah, every time I bought a Build-A-Bear Pokemon over there, whether it be, usually for my girlfriend, I actually bought her a Psyduck this past weekend, I would get, no huss, no fuss, they would give me the promotional card for the Pokemon that I had purchased, with it. No questions asked. They just hand it to me. They knew. They were trained properly. So sorry about this indignant rant, but I really think that the companies, that retail companies, if you're basically going to win by conglomeration, or you want to win by basically buying out if you're number one, not for any legitimately decent reasons like quality or service, quality of service, quality of product, then you should be called out on your bad. You should be called out on bad practices. I'd also like to say to the Pokemon company, please stop doing business with these companies. They clearly don't know what they're doing. They're not promoting your company in the way that you're spending money for them to do so. You're better off spending your money with other more, competently run companies. So that's my video about this. Hopefully you guys enjoyed Detective Pikachu. If you did, post a comment below, or even if you had any thoughts about it, just post a comment below. Don't worry about spoilers. I've seen the movie. If you had a better experience with these promotions than I did, please also post a comment about that. I'd like to know where better Walmarts or Targets are managed. I really would. So until next time, my name is Maniac with GameAccess.net. This is Detective Pikachu. Take care. Over and out.